What is going on? I am back. We are back. Another day, another 10 cents for the Foundation of Black American Family, and another $350 for the dominant society. Man, shout out to everybody out there that's handling business at the Court Plantation. You see, they trying to blame everything on Trump, talking about, man, he about to take us into a recession. We gonna get on it today. Man, shout out to everybody out there handling business. Shout out to Nuke. Shout out to the homegirl Nuke, man. Nuke is handling business. Shit, Nuke is doing big things. They ain't got time to be bothered with this bullshit podcast. So shout out to Nuke. Shout out to the homegirl Sister Cobweb. My homegirl Roxanne. Shout out to everybody in Vegas. Shout out to all my peoples in Vegas. And a special shout out to everybody that I be chopping up with. Shout out to Tasho. Shout out to Erica, Florida in the building. Shawnee, Philly in the building. Shout out to my brother David from No Compromise. Georgia in the building. Shout out to my brother James Youngblood. Texas is definitely in the building. Shout out to the homegirl Melina. Just everybody in Arizona. Everybody that, I may forget to mention. So shout out to them, man. We gonna have a conversation today. The blame game. Let's get it. Hey, man. Hey. And David, man. Shout out to my brother David again. Dave was like, I ain't gonna send Warren G no topics. Warren G be going too hard. I didn't know he was gonna go hard like that. My bad, man. Look, I don't have no notes. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't be having no notes. I try to obtain and just keep all the information in my processing unit in my brain, and then when I want to do the podcast, I just kind of go with it. I don't be freestyling. I know the topic that I want to talk about, and I just go with it. So, because I don't want people thinking like, man, this motherfucker. Nah, y'all know I used to show all the books I read. If I ain't read the book, I won't talk about it. I'll say, brother Dave from No Compromise said this, but I don't be talking about books I ain't read. That's a fact. But anyway. Our sister Jasmine Crockett. I want to play the video, but I don't, because I don't want to go too hard. I like the sister. Very beautiful sister. Just gorgeous. Man, do you need a man, my sister? Shit. That's a beautiful sister, ain't it? But anyway, I like this sister, man, but I gotta give some pushback. And the pushback that I'm giving is this. I can see if Jasmine Crockett was independent, I would probably ride with it more, because you're an independent thinker. But when somebody is giving you the belief system and then you kind of going with it, I have to disagree. Strongly disagree. Look, don't get it twisted. We have no friends. We have no allies. So either party, no, it's about what you gonna do for me. Y'all ain't never heard that song by Shaka Khan? What you gonna do for me? Y'all ain't never heard that song? Well, what you gonna do for us? This ain't about no specific party or whatever. But a lot of the stuff that Jasmine Crockett was saying was a little overboard. She was on the Breakfast Club, and I was like, all right, you kind of going overboard. Oh, well, the federal spending and the defense budget. Let me break this down to y'all. It's all dominant society people stealing. That's what it is. It's their system. They created it, and they are stealing from the American people, no matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat. Here's the difference. On the Republican side of everything going on, they're just gonna tell you straight out, this is what we doing, this is what we ain't doing. We don't give a fuck, and we could give two fucks if you like it or not. The Democratic side more is covert. They're gonna smile with you and then steal and screw you over. That's the difference. And we have to understand what that is, because a lot of the time we don't want to see it that way. And they're like, oh, he's heading us into recession. We was headed, in my personal opinion, we was headed to a recession anyway. Irregardless of what the fuck anybody could have done. First of all, they talking about the DEI. I heard her talking about DEI. And I heard her talking about like several things. And I just wanted to tell her, sister, have you read Dr. Clyde Anderson's Black Labor, White Wealth? Because he was doing it a lot longer than you. That book that he wrote, the first book, Black Larry White Wealth, that was eons ago. So you're trying to tell me that Dr. Claude Anderson is a liar? And you're like, Warren, why would you say that? She never said that. Well, because y'all are treating black folk as if we're not supposed to look at what you gonna do for me. What have you done for me lately? Da 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 da. Ooh, yeah. Nigga, why is it we have to go along with get along with the Democrat Party and they ain't giving us shit? This is called, in my personal opinion, racial showcasing confusion, because you pluck out a few foundational black Americans that are articulate and can speak well, or just black people in general, and then, in my personal opinion, they're doing the devil's work, because what you should be doing is speaking on independent voting and in voting your interest, and not coming up with all these false claims about what Trump is doing. And Jasmine Crockett, you are a beautiful sister. Please don't let them use you for evil, and don't do the devil's work, because as Nelly Fuller Jr. points out, and David, James, all y'all who have read that book, Tasha, whoever read the book, tell me if I'm wrong. If you see two dominant society people having a disagreement and arguing, you don't choose a side. Because if they're not arguing about replacing the system of racism, white supremacy, and establishing a system of justice, meaning the racial group that needs the most constructive help, which is foundational black Americans, receives the most constructive help. If they're not doing that, they're just arguing about who's the biggest slave plantation owner. So if that's the case, I am not going to go on no platform and just tout for anyone unless I'm getting kickbacks and I'm getting shit specifically for me. She even brought up Senator Menendez. Senator Menendez is a white Hispanic who they allowed to do that. And when they got tired of it, what did they do? Sorry, clown, you're not a dominant society person. The fuck out of here. Clown ass to jail. Bye. So, and I had been talking about Senator Menendez. That's why in the Breakfast Club, they didn't even know who she was talking about. Really, I did. Because I did 2 podcasts on Senator Menendez. And I was talking about how these white Hispanics do not identify as Hispanic. They identify as a white Hispanic. So I don't want to hear none of that. And like I said, I sometimes I want to tell people like, y'all must ain't even read any of the shit that happened before us, huh? Oh, and they're putting us in a deficit. And look, the dominant society has no ties to anyone but the dominant society. So why do we go out of our way to protect, aid, and abet the dominant society in all its minions? Because they're not for us. They're not our allies. They're not our friends. So I'm not going to sit up here and be like, man, the Democrat. No, I used to be the Democrats. And then as I got older, I started reading. I'm like, man, the Democrats is more racist than the Republicans. See, what it is the Republicans are not going to allow you to get on your bully pulpit and start talking a bunch of bullshit that they are in disagreement with, and they're going to call you out on the bullshit, and they don't give a fuck if it's racist or not. That's the difference. Mitch McConnell, all his homeboys, Trump, all his homeboys, they don't give a fuck about you thinking that they racist. The whole country was red. Let me tell y'all something so you can understand this, because I'm liking the 15 to 20 minute podcast. I like doing it that way because it's quick information and you're going about your way. I have heard a lot of black people growing up talking a lot of negative shit about the Nation of Islam and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I would put the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching up against any 100-year black Christianity religion. Because the honorable Elijah Muhammad just wasn't about cleaning up and repairing and restoring the mental capacity of the foundational black American man. He wants to teach you business. And last time I checked, shout out and RIP to Nipsey Hussle, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was one of the dopest businessmen that you could ever find. What are y'all talking about? And you're like, why are you talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I'm talking about the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you like, Warren White said, he is the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to me. And the reason why I say that is because he taught business. I'm going to go meet with the head of the Ku Klux Klan and we're going to discuss business. We're not going to be name calling and being emotional and all this other shit. Go look it up. Go look up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teachers. He had a meeting with the KKK about what y'all gonna do versus what we gonna do. You don't mess with our shit. We don't fuck with y'all shit. We're gonna maintain and do our business over here as foundational Black Americans, a part of the Nation of Islam. And y'all stay y'all racist KKK asses the fuck over there because you don't want those type of problems. Remember that song? You don't want no problems. You don't want those type of problems with the Nation of Islam because the Nation of Islam ran the prison institution at one point in time. The biggest religious group in the prisons. Go look it up. And I don't think y'all wanted to do that back in the day. That's why he had no problem sitting down with the KKK, because we need to discuss business. Now, I'm saying that because the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in my personal opinion, was a genius. Just the teachings, the readings, listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, listen to the Honorable teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, listening to Malcolm X, listening to Shahrazad Ali, listening to all these people. Shout out to Vicky Dillard, Talk Black to Me. Shout out to Reza Islam. These are all, shout out to the 5% Nation. These are all descendants of the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So how do we love them but not like and give respect to the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? You're like, Warren, why are you saying this? I'm saying this because if he was, in my opinion, a very great man, a genius, and said, we need to have a meeting with the KKK because we need to establish lines of demarcation and jurisdiction because they not finna be running us the fuck up out of what the fuck we doing. And we're going to handle business and we're going to conduct business with dignity and respect. So if the Honorable Elijah Muhammad can do it, why is it when it comes to Black people, especially foundational Black Americans, sitting at the table with the Republican Party, which is an extension of the KKK? We can't talk to them, but we got to talk to the secret KKK, which is the Democratic Party that has racial showcase and confusion all around them, with the covert anti-Black racism that they use continuously over and over again. Ed Buck was drugging those the LGBTQ community, drugging them. Everybody don't wake up. He the only one wake up, and nobody would prosecute him. I said, this man is killing people. Then they finally wanted to press charge after people made so many different complaints. But y'all don't want us to sit down with the Republican Party so we can establish lines of demarcation and we can establish a foundation of conducting business with dignity and respect. This is what I don't like about the Jasmine Crockett's and everyone. Y'all speak well. You're very articulate. But have you read Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson? Have you read Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson? So you mean to tell me I'm going to listen to Jasmine Crockett but not listen to Dr. Claude Anderson? So Dr. Claude Anderson is just making this shit up. So you mean to tell me that Dr. Claude Anderson was just high out of his mind, incapacitated as a young foundational Black American man immersed in politics, and he's lying? And we should just go with the Democratic Party? Didn't Dr. Claude Anderson have a pyramid and break down the pyramid, not only in his book, but in Hidden Colors? Didn't he do that? So he talked about it and then he wrote it down. So he wrote it down first, go read it, then he talked about it. He also talked about it at Frederick Price's church in Los Angeles, California in 1997. Go look it up on YouTube. So we're not supposed to listen to him, but we're supposed to listen to Jasmine Crockett. And Jasmine Crockett, please don't be like Fannie Willis and get to talking a whole bunch of shit about the Trumpster. I'm going to tell y'all right now what you're dealing with so y'all can have a different understanding. And David from No Compromise, all y'all, listen to me. Now I've been kind of on the money when it comes to the Trumpster. I told y'all he's going to fire a whole bunch of motherfuckers and he's going to come out there and he's going to start expose all them people that was trying to get him locked up, jumping on the bandwagon. He's going to fire you and he's going to expose you. Now he's firing people and exposing them. I don't agree with a lot of bullshit that Elon Musk got going on or Donald Trump. But I'm going to tell you right now, they are not shitting on foundational Black Americans, talking this DEI, and they're going to take DEI away from us and all this bullshit. That ain't helping no foundational Black Americans. Oh, we're heading to recession. That's why we can't afford housing. We can't afford housing because the Democratic Party and the United States of America Incorporated are giving illegal immigrants zero interest free loans so they can go buy houses. So you mean to tell me in my neighborhood in Las Vegas, Nevada, the neighborhood that I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada, it's about 3 black folk, including me, that lived in. So 2 other black families. The rest of them were Asians, whites, immigrants. So you mean to tell me that's just a coincidence? No, it's by design. I remember Las Vegas in the 80s used to be whites and blacks. I remember Los Angeles, California in the 80s and the 70s used to be whites and blacks. I went to Shenandoah Elementary in West Los Angeles. Yes, that's why I went. Every kid in there was white or black. That was it. Same thing like Las Vegas. In the 70s and 80s, especially the 80s and the 90s in Las Vegas, the early 90s and the late 80s, it wasn't nothing but foundational Black Americans and whites. Maybe a sprinkle of a Latino. Now all of a sudden, the border's done open, and as Chick Hearn said, the jello is jiggling, the eggs are shaking. It's like, and now all of a sudden, all the property is it's either the dominant society or immigrants. Now, how does that work? She even stated something. I don't even want to play the video. She even stated something about, I went to Atlanta and workers are not showing up because they're afraid of ICE. Nice scare tactic. They're not supposed to be here anyway. So nice scare tactic. This is the problem with us as black folk. Why are you speaking on regards to the Democratic Party unless you are directly benefiting from them? Because if you're not benefiting from them, you're going to have, to me, blinders on with taking up for different parties, and you're going to take up for your people and be like, well, this is what black folk need because I'm an independent. But you can't really run as an independent because guess what? A lot of independents don't win shit and don't run and don't win shit and don't have seats in the House or the Senate. So you got to run for one or the other. That's how that works. It's just like working at the court plantation. When you're working in a department and you like to play politics, you're going to be either one of those political parties that's kind of like covert, like, yeah. But then in the office, you ain't telling them, are you going to be overt with it? Nope, this is what we need to be doing. Mostly the people that's handling business and working their ass off, they don't give a fuck about no covert bullshit. They're going to call it out and keep it moving. And they don't care about popularity. And when you're running for Congress and Senate and City Council, it's about popularity. It isn't about what you're going to do for your people, unless you're a different racial group. Because I remember when I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada, Ricky Barlow, that piece of shit motherfucker, would come in there, wouldn't speak to nobody. And then when his ass got hemmed up with the federal government, want to be fucking saying, I'm sorry for 2004 type shit on some Ruben Studdard bullshit. That bald head motherfucker, he wasn't shit and didn't plan on doing shit for niggas. That's the problem. And that's why didn't nobody feel sorry for his ass. And I don't either. Stop listening to these people. Oh, well, I couldn't believe she was like, look, y'all talking about these immigrants, but hey, they're just sending their money to their people and they just want to work. And who's going to do the jobs? Foundational Black Americans, you just need to pay us. See, I'm tired of other black folk being the naysayer and the moral compass over black people's pay. That's why black people ain't building homes, because we deserve higher, better pay and better working conditions. These people that come over here are illegal and they're just happy to be here illegally. We are here legally because we built the country for free. We know our intrinsic value now. Stop letting other foundational Black Americans or black people, period, be the moral compass over you, not listening to what the Republican Party has to say. Y'all may not like Trump, but Trump seems pretty likable to me. The whole country was red. So then what was it that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris wasn't doing? It was the reason why they lost so bad. Where's the Democratic person that's just going to be like, you know what? Kamala Harris and Joe Biden was just out of touch with reality. And it didn't resonate with the people. Y'all pushing things on people, causing people to lose their jobs, all kinds of stuff. So sorry, no. And good. Get rid of them punk motherfuckers in the federal government stealing money. I don't care. They ain't calling out black folks, so it don't matter to me. But I'm going to tell you right now, doesn't it feel good, again, that black folk are not the butt of the joke, and they're not, oh, well, black folk this, black folk that, and oh, this and that. We got to change that. Now they're working on their own. So please ignore and use the benign neglect policy when it comes to Jasmine Crockett and the unforeseen talking points that she has about what black folk are benefiting from. And stop. You're part of a political party. If you were independent, I would take you more serious. So I don't take Jasmine Crockett serious or anybody else. I don't care how much arguing and rolling her neck and you know what that is? That's what David and I coined the term theater. It is theater. White people don't care about you rolling your neck and rolling your eyes and talking crazy to them. At the end of the day, it's their game. It's not even your game. You don't own the chessboard. You are a pawn in the chess game. It's not your game. You don't even know the social game rules. Matter of fact, I scratched that. Jasmine Crockett, she knows the social game rules. She just chooses for everybody to lean towards the Democratic Party. My thing is, Dianne Feinstein was a part of the Democratic Party. That was just shout out to Craig Facts podcast. And Craig Facts, period, that's a knowledgeable brother. Y'all need to listen to him. That nigga is knowledgeable. And he was telling us how Dianne Feinstein passed some laws. So all the water laws in California is owned by one billionaire family. And she passed the laws. So I don't want to hear shit about no Democratic Party. As if they are the friends and allies of black folk. They ain't never been friends and allies of black folk. And then she brought up, well, we haven't had such and such since Bill Clinton. Let me tell you something. There's a book called How to Lie with Statistics. Remember that. There's two. There's a book called How to Lie with Maps and a book called How to Lie with Statistics. Remember that. So motherfucker could skew the statistics however the fuck they want to do it. I don't want to hear shit about no funky ass Bill Clinton who was at Jeffrey Epstein's house in a picture with an underage woman and ain't nobody say shit. Nobody even said, well, what was he doing at y'all house with that girl? And that was the girl that was complaining about all of those promiscuous ass high seeking officials. And nothing happened to him. They let him speak at the DNC. Stop. Bill Clinton has no credit with me. Him and his wife was corrupt. That's why you ain't heard or seen. You don't even know where they are. You can find Waldo and can't find their asses. But I just wanted to end it with that. Remember, I got love for Jasmine Crockett, but you're talking a bunch of bullshit. I'm done. Guilty, nigga. Peace.